Radhe Krishna. Gopika Jeevanasmaranam Govinda Govinda. Narayaniyam Dashakam second. The formful aspect of the Lord. Bhagavad Rupavarnanam. The first verse. Suryaspardhikireethamurdhvatilaka prodbhasi phalantaram कारुण्याकुलनेत्रमाद्रहसितोल्लासं सुनासापुटम् गण्डोद्यं मकरापकुण्डलयुगं कण्ठोज्ज्वलकौस्तुभं त्वद्रूपं वनमाल्यहारपटल श्रीवत्सधीप्रं भजे. Second verse. केयूराङ्गदकङ्गणोत्तममहारत्न गुलीयाङ्गिद श्रीवत् बाहुजचुष्टसङ्गदगदा शङ्खारि पङ्गेरुहाम् काञ्चित् काञ्चन काञ्चिलाञ्जितलसत् पीताम्बरालम्बिनीम् आलम्बे विमलाम्बुजद्युतिपदाम् मूर्तित्तवार्चिच्छिदम्. In these two verses, beautifully, Bhattadripad is explaining about the Bhagavad Swarupam, the form of the Lord, from the head to the toe. Every aspect of that Lord we should visualize, and this meaning conveys that those qualities of the Lord as a jiva we have to learn to practice. That is what the explanation of this, the smile of the Lord, the mercy of the Lord. When he explains Paramatma, Narayana Bhattadripad tells us that as a jiva we should take those qualities and that we are that Paramatman. That's how jiva and Paramatma come, we merge with one another. The Advaita comes there. That's why really explanation we have to connect with Advaita, otherwise it just becomes a casual worship of the form. So we have to go in deep into it. As Baba always says, when Lord is decorated with flowers and with jewels, each individual, when we go to the temple, all 24/7 we have to be like Lord, dressed up properly with cleanliness. Cleanliness is godliness. So some people only for marriage they go dressed up. Once in the lecture Baba explained, every occasion, every day, 24/7 you have to be neatly dressed like Lord, because you are presenting yourself in front of the Lord and you are that Lord. So that highlighting factor we have to remember, that if you go here, that's okay if you go there, because this is the higher going spiritually, so that thought has to be reveling 24/7. That many a times we say we clean only during Diwali. That is not the criteria. Every day, every aspect has to be, every house is a temple, it's be cleaned. So 24/7 is Diwali. So that's what he's explaining in the first and second sloka, the form of the Lord. That form we have to bring inside every aspect, the meaning of it. When we chant, every quality of the Lord has to come to a jivatma. Like the first verse says, Surya Spardhi Kireeta, with a crown which competes with the sun in brilliance. Urdhvatilaka prodbhasi phalantaram, whose forehead is made resplendent by the upright sandal paste mark. Karunyakula netram, whose eyes are full of compassion. What it means is, we should be compassionate to everybody. When we talk, every word has to be compassionate, so that all jealousy feelings comes out when we address a person, let it be anybody. So that those qualities we have to imbibe. That's why he's telling the eyes has to be full of compassion. Means when we look at anybody, it should be compassionate outlook, with that love towards each and every jiva. Full of compassion, Adrahasitollasam, whose face is lit up with a tender smile. Sunasa Putam, with attractive nose. Gandodhvam Makarapa Kundala Yugam, with a pair of fish-shaped earrings which light up the cheeks with their brilliance. Kantojjvala Kaustubham, with the Kaustuba jewel shining around the neck. Vanamala Harya Patala Deepram, resplendent with garlands of tulasi and flowers, necklaces and the Srivatsa mark. Twadrupam, thy form, bhaje, I meditate upon. I meditate upon that form, and that form I have to imbibe in me with those thoughts, with the meaning of thoughts. Each meaning I have to imbibe and reflect upon. I meditate on the form of thine, with a who is resplendent as the sun, whose forehead shines with a sandal paste, whose eyes are full of compassion, who has a face lit up with a tender smile, whose nose is attractive. All this explanation is we have to imbibe those qualities. That is the first verse. The second verse, Keyurangada Kangano Tamamaharatnanguliyangida Srimad Bahuja Chushta Sangata Gada Shankari Pangeruham. It is like garland. This verse is made without a break. That shows that is the how it has to be chanted. Here it explains with the 4 divine arms which are adorned with ornaments such as Keyura, Angada, armlets, Kanaka, bracelets, and finger rings set with precious stones, and holding the Kaumodiki, the Panchajanyam, the Sudarshana, and the lotus. So that is the form of the Lord, where he explains these aspects. Kanchit Kanchana Kanchilan Jitalasat Pitambara Lambini, wearing as yellow, resplendent silk cloth fastened by a waistband of gold. Vimalam Bhujat Dvitipadam, with feet whose luster is like that of pure lotuses. Archichidam, which removes the woes of devotees. Kanchit Tava Murti, thy indescribable form. Alambe, I take refuge in that feet with whose grace all difficulties, all problems are removed. So I take refuge in thy indescribable form, with 4 arms adorned with armlets, bracelets, rings set with precious stones. The full form of the Lord he is explaining in this. So we have to understand, when we sit for prayer, we have to bring that form inside us and meditate upon it. By chanting the sloka and the meaning, we have to reflect and meditate. O Lord, in my each devatas that's inside, there are so many devatas inside, let that shine like a brilliant sun. Let my intellect shine like a brilliant sun. Let my each thought be very pure and sacred. Let my each action be very pure and sacred. That's why he's explaining the aspect of the Lord. The brilliance of sun is those qualities I should have. That was the explanation in each aspect. Keyurangata Kanganottamamaha Ratnanguliyangita Srimad Bahuja Tushta Sangatakata Shankari Pangeruham. Beautiful verse. So when we sit for meditation, we bring the form, then we go to the formless. Formless is not attached to the form, but attached to the meaning of it, and contemplate and reflect. That is the second sloka. The third verse, Dashakam, second. Etrailokya mahiyasopi mahitam sammohanam mohanat kantam kanti nidhanatopi madhuram madhurya duryadapi saundaryottaradopi sundarataram twadrupam ascharyadopi आश्चर्यं भुवनेन कस्य कुतुकं पुष्णाति विष्णो विभो. O all-pervading being, who is there in all the universe that will not be entranced by this thy surprisingly wonderful form, which is superior in excellence to all objects considered great in the three worlds, which is more charming than the most charming of entities, whose splendor outshines every form of brilliance, and whose sweetness and beauty would put to shame all other objects that are noted for such qualities. So he's highlighting that see me in everything and see everything in me. It is the perception, how we look at things. When we look at things as very bright and brilliant, everything will look brilliant. When we look in a other way thought with a dull attitude, it will look dull. So he's referring to the attitude, the brilliance of the Lord. You can see pervading in all the three worlds. With that attitude, if you look, always it will be like brilliant sun. That's what the further explanation I'll explain in the next class. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. Radhe Krishna. As I was going through the second Dashakam of Narayaniyam, few more important points I could gather. I just wanted to highlight to you all. When we were going through the form worship and how to go to the formless and attain the lotus feet, how to understand that infinite, unlimited Brahman. So, as I was going through, I could gather that in the short span of the Kali Yuga itself, 700, 800 years, we could see so many Mahan, so many Avatar Purushas. That is the greatness of Kali Yuga. If we spend time every day, night time before going to bed, going through their life history, like saying Tyagaraja, Dikshadhar, Shama Shastri, Purandaradasar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Ramana Maharishi, Satya Sai Baba, or Shirdi Sai Baba, so many are there to name. Really, if you read each life history, how they were with the form worship and how could they change their attitude, transform themselves and know the Brahman and attain the lotus feet with the bhakti and bhava. Like Gopikas, they could attain the Lord Krishna's feet. So transformation will happen surely, though we might be in the first ladder of the 18 steps, but Andal, like Mirabai, we can achieve that in this Janma itself, because after thousands and thousands of birth, we get a human birth. So we should not waste that, and the choice we make, the priority we give. Like on my, I used to attend Parsade's disciple Sudarshan Ji, he used to tell every morning we should see what is essential and what is non-essential for me. So if our goal is spiritual to grow, then I have to spend time more on this. It's not that easy, it's very deep, but it's not difficult also. It's how we spend the time, what priority we give, that matters a lot. So I thought this form of the Lord, that this aspect is very important. The deeper we go, we can see the change, we can see the transformation in ourselves. Just wanted to highlight that. Radhe Krishna. Radhe Krishna. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. We were in the second Dashakam of Narayaniyam, the third sloka, Etrailokya. So the meaning word meaning I'll just first refer. He Vishnu Vibho, O all-pervading and almighty Lord. Etrailokya Mahiya Sa Api Mahitam, which is superior to what is considered the greatest in all the three worlds. Mohanat Sammohanam, more enchanting than the most enchanting. Kanti Nidhanataha Api Kantam, more brilliant than the repository of all brilliance. Madhurya Duryadapi Madhuram, sweeter than the sweetest. Saundaryottaratha api sundarataram, more beautiful than the most beautiful. Ascharyattah api ascharyam, more wonderful than the most wonderful. Twadrupam, thy form, Bhuvane, in this world. Kasya kutukam, whose enthusiasm, na pushnati, does not increase. That is, I have already given the explanation, the gist of that. As I was referring earlier after the one more recording I had sent regarding how we say just by reading the Shastras, going through Narayaniyam or Bhagavad Gita or any other Upanishad, we have to go deeper into it. There are three, the mind is so powerful, there are three types of thoughts, because as Swamiji always used to tell, just by studying Gita or Narayaniyam, it's not sufficient, just that it's only the information. Gita has to go through you, that is Narayaniyam has to go through us. Before we finish the Narayaniyam, we should know the deeper aspect of it. Otherwise, it just become an information. As many a times we have the tendency that we gather a lot of information. That's why Narayana Bhattacharya more emphasized from the very first Dashakam, he's emphasizing on the Brahma Tattvam, Sarvam Brahmamayam. He's emphasizing because many people get stuck in the form and the meaning of it, and we end with that. So the three types of mind. One mind is, first we have to stream the mind, because the first very thing highlighting factor is, why I am emphasizing it, Swamini had told me once, we might go through so many Upanishads, but we have to go, let it be Rudram, let it be Upanishad, let it be, you have to go deep into the meaning. That is more important for self-realization, for liberation. Because otherwise we become scholars or a number of chanting. That is very good as karma, as a karma yogi. But for a jnana yogi, jnanam, karma and bhakti should be simultaneous. So every karma which we do, let it be music, let it be bhajan, let it be parayanam, jnanam and bhakti has to be there. That is, we have to, when you sing a bhajan also, we have to go through the bhajan and contemplate on the Lord. That's how we can go spiritually. So the three types of mind, you have to master the mind once. Mastering the mind is streamlining our thoughts, streamlining our senses. That's how in the spiritual path we can grow. Otherwise, casual thinking means you just read the meaning. That's why I'm referring that, though I'm telling the meaning, each individual have to spend time to grow, which is a lifelong journey. In 1985, I remember when Swamiji told us to start, we didn't know what is Brahman, what is. Really, every moment I used to pray to the Lord, to Lord Saraswati, to shower on us the concept, because the concept is very important. It's a science. The whole Vedanta is a science. Let it be Narayanam, let it be Bhagavad Gita, let it be Srimad Bhagavatam, let it be Devi Mahatmyam, anything, we have to see the Vedanta part of it. Veda starts and ending with Vedanta. With Vedanta only, ultimately we will know what is the concept. Without any subject for that matter, science we have to explore and know. So Vedanta, Narayaniyam or anything is a science, deeper meaning. So we have to explore and find. Then only we'll get the fulfillment. Otherwise, it just becomes a mechanical chanting. So that should not be our approach. That's why every time I'm emphasizing that we have to make a schedule, and with awareness, with consciousness, every action has to be done. Then the transformation will come. So as I said, the mind, casual thinking, we have to streamline our thoughts and we have to go deeper into it. So whatever sadhana we are doing from morning onwards, with the awareness. So one of the lectures Swamiji was referring, a person from the childhood, if he has not done every action with Satyam and Dharmam, every thought with Satyam and Dharmam, for 12 years if he does that, he can read other person's mind. That powerful is our mind. That's why every jnani, if you see, I was referring to various avatar purushas, Ramana Maharishi, Bodhendra Swamigal, Sadashiva Brahmendra, Raghavendra. so many others I was referring. Each person in this Kali Yuga we can see from the form to the formless, because ultimately the formless only pervades the whole universe. Jiva Ishvara Tattvam, we have to know. What is Jiva, what is Ishvara? Jiva Jada Tattvam, that is, every inert object Lord is present. Because these angles, why I am emphasizing is, with these angles only, with projection, we will know that world is Maya, it is Mithya. With that perception only, if you study the whole concept, you will understand and ultimately know the truth, what the truth is. So that's why every by Narayana Bhattacharya also referring in this also 8th and 9th sloka, when you go through, he talks about Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana. So Jnana is very important because the subject is like that. Without Jnanam, without knowledge, we won't know the Tattvam at all. What is the Brahma Tattvam? So he is referring to it, saying that Ishvara and Jiva concept, both are same. Jiva Jada Tattvam, that is Jiva and Jada also is same. So every inert object we see the presence of the Lord. And like in one of the statement, Narayana Bhattacharya referred in the Upanishad also, Brihadaranya Upanishad, where it says, I am the pure consciousness, Aham Brahmasmi. And when in Katha Upanishad, when Nachiketa asked the Yamadharmaraja also, what is that? What is the difference? So when he explained that you and me are same, because all the Tattvam is same, when he explained that, he was very much surprised. We think that Yamaraja is also a Devata. So with an understanding if you have, then even death comes, you are not afraid, because you are that all-pervading Ishvara. So you see Yamaraja also as Ishvara. That's why Nachiketa was very much surprised when Yamaraja was explaining to him. So that's why every explanation we should clearly understand the totality and the individuality. As individual, because of ignorance, because of Maya, we think the Jagat is separate from us, Ishvara is separate from us, but the whole perception has to be changed, where Narayana Bhattacharya is referring to, that totality and individuality is because of our ignorance we perceive like that. Once we see that the brilliance of the sun is you, the Atma, which reflects everywhere, so then the Nitya Karma, the Shamashti Karma, every karma, you see Ishvara only. There is no mine and hers. Mine comes because of the selfish approach. Once we have the selfless approach, the whole attitude changes. That's why he's referring to knowledge and humility has to go together. Many a times when the knowledge comes, the ego comes. That's why in spirituality we have to be very careful. The other time, first lecture I told, is walking on the razor's edge. You have to be down to earth with humility, because everything Lord is doing. It is just a thinking that as an individual I am doing. There is no I here. Small I is not there. The big I, that is the Atma Tattva, Atma. Lord is doing everything, making us as an instrument. So with that understanding, that's why we say humility and knowledge has to go together. Vidya Dadati Vinayam. Very, very important. So many Avatara Purushas like Sabari waited for Lord for so many years. With Bhakti, she had already gained the knowledge in the previous birth. That's why with Bhakti she could wait for years together to receive the Lord. So that shows how much knowledge she would have had before. Even Prahalada at the Garbha, before birth itself, he could feel the presence of the Lord. So every individual level varies. So we can't compare us with somebody else, because Lord alone can judge. When one finger is towards us, 3 fingers are towards us. So every individual have to put tremendous effort we have to put. And it's not difficult. We'll start enjoying when we read the scriptures, when we know about the Mahans. So everywhere, if you see, that's why I'm again and again referring to Vedanta, because before we finish the Narayaniyam, we should transform ourselves and know that Tattvam, that is more important. Not just knowing the meaning of it. With meaning, we see the Lord there, because in every word also Devata is present. In every music when we enjoy, the Devata is present in the music. In the raga, the Devata is present. That's why of Sharira, when we say each chakra, we invoke. When we invoke that, we get the Shakti. We see so many Avatara Purushas. Now we saw 4 years back in Sringeri, Swami Vidushekhara Swamigal, when he was initiated by Sringeri Swamigal. It was, there are different Dikshas. It was Sparsha Diksha. I could see 20 minutes. Swamiji was blessing Vidushekhara, keeping his hand on his head and transferring that knowledge. So that Diksha, with this small age, 24 years and only 4 years over, how he is able to do is the previous births, karma, he has become a jnani now. He is like a Swamiji. Swami help, because of how we are, he was also learning this knowledge, and in this birth, at the very young age, he could become Swamigal, Vidushekhara Bharati Swamigal. And I heard that 24, all the round the clock, he is studying the scriptures and writing about Swamijis and slokas, how it's because of the Tapas Shakti. We think that tapas only few people can do. It's not that. Every individual has the capacity. Lord Krishna says to Gopikas, every person, we can't underestimate anybody. Every smaller to smallest, biggest to the biggest, everyone has the capacity to know the Lord, to guide us, to bless us. That's why various scriptures are given, and how to go about it, that is more important. As an individual, I should accept and accommodate everyone with love and affection. These are the points why I am highlighting is, normally we can go further and understand, otherwise it becomes a mechanical chanting and repeating the verses. So mastering our mind, mastering our senses, as he says, food is very important. With sattvic mind only, so sattvic we should have, we ourselves will see the transformation. So that's what he is referring, the form of Lord Krishna, how you see the formless you see, form with the form you see as Lord Krishna, formless you see as everywhere he is pervading. So when you see a person, you see him as Lord, not as a particular jiva. That's what the highlighting factor of this sloka. The fourth verse, Tattadrik maduratmakam tava vapuho samprapya sampanmayi sadhevi paramotsukhat chirataram naste svabhakteshvapi tenasya batha kashtamachyuta vibho tadrupamanognyakam premasthairyamayada chapalabalat chapalyavartota bhut. Next class I'll give the explanation of this. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Narayaniyam, second Dashakam, fourth verse. Tattadrik maduratmakam tava vapuhu samprapya sampanmayi sadhevi paramotsuka chirataram naste svabhakteshvapi tenasya bhata kashtamachyuta vibho tvadrupamanognyaka premasthairyamayada chapalabalat chapalyavartota bhut. The fourth verse of the second Dashakam, the form of the Lord we were seeing, and we were trying to learn how to worship the formless and how to know the Brahma Tattvam. So the word meaning, He Vibhu, O all-pervading Lord. He Achyuta, O changeless one. Sampanmayi Sa Devi, that Lakshmi Devi who is the embodiment of prosperity. Tatta Drig Maduratmakam Tava Vapuhu, thy form which is of such incomparable beauty. Samprapya, having got, Paramot Sukha, and being very much attached to thee. Swabhakteshvapi, even with her devotees. Chirataram na aste, does not stay long. Tena, because of that. Twadrupa manognyaka premasthairyam mayat, because of the firmness of her love for the entrancing beauty of thy form. Achapala balat, because of the strength of her firmness. Chapalya vartha, the description that she is fickle. Udbhuta, has arisen. Bata kashtam, alas. So here we can see the importance of Lakshmi. See, normally we see Lakshmi represents material wealth, but Narayan Bhattatri Pad explains what is real wealth. Even if we have material wealth, but we have no discipline or self-control, nor the values of love, kindness, respect and sincerity, all our material wealth will be lost or destroyed. So that is very important, these qualities. These are the virtues, that is also we call this as Lakshmi. The real wealth is the inner wealth of spiritual values that we practice in our lives, by which our minds become purified. Only when we have these noble values will we be able to preserve our material wealth and make good use of it. Otherwise, money itself becomes a big problem. That's why he is explaining how wealth is so important. So Lakshmi is in all forms. So how we use it, that is more important. The right values and good qualities we have to practice, and with that attitude the Lakshmi also has to be used. Our wealth of virtues is our true Lakshmi. That's what his Narayan Bhattatri Pad is explaining. And also Adi Shankaracharya, in one of the, when we were going through the Viveka Chudamani, describes the Sat Sampati, that is 6 forms of wealth, which is very important. That is calmness of mind, self-control, self-withdrawal, forbearance, faith, and single-pointedness. These qualities have to be practiced, cultivated to attain wisdom. Single-pointedness, that is the concentration, that is the action which we do, the thought, word and deed which we practice never should be single-pointed, straightforward. So that is the real virtue he is explaining. These virtues are important because our goal is victory over the mind. That is, we have to win, as I said. Key point is victory over the mind. A victory such that we do not get disturbed by every change that takes place in our lives. That is more important. That is maintaining in Dvandva. The other day I told, pleasure, pain, that is sukha, dukkha, happiness, sadness, cold, hot. We have to rise above all these things. How it is possible is, I as an observer, akarta bhava, I am not the doer. With that attitude, if we do, we won't get affected. That is how we learn to practice. Otherwise, that's why there's a lot of subtle difference between attachment and love. When we attach to various objects, the best example we can give is an actor acting in so many movies. So he acts, but he knows his real role, real nature is something else. Hundreds of roles he plays, but he knows what is his real identity. Same way, our existence, what is real existence, is that Atma Tattva, that pure consciousness, that Satchit Ananda Swarupa. So other roles we should do with the best of the ability. Let it be mother, let it be school teacher, let it be a student, let it be a devotee. Every aspect should be perfect and dharmic according to the whatever said in the Shastras. Every action. So that's how we'll try to learn and understand, being an observer. Every act we do, many people mistake, when you take up spirituality, this will get disturbed. It's not like that. Actually, being the grahastha, we learn more and not escape from the duties. Many a times we escape and try to avoid. That should not be. First thing is swadharma. We have to do our house duty as a mother, as a husband, as a wife perfectly. Then if we have time, we have to devote for society also. We have to, that's why, make a schedule. Not escape this and go for that. Many people escape the housework and do because they get the happiness. That's why it's starting itself, I told, likes and dislikes. That is, what you like, you do, and what you don't like, you don't do, which is against the Shastras, if you want to go spiritually. That's why in the Kala Chakra and the Gita also it is said, we have to be in the satsang for an individual to grow spiritually. Everyone will come to that line. Only is a question of time, the Kala Chakra. Many people ask why the youngsters are not coming. The time comes, it will come. As told in the Gita, Lord Krishna says itself, everyone, according to the karma, have to come to that point. It's the question of time. So we pray for the others, and surely it will work out. That's why it is told, from the very young age we were taught to be in good company, to learn good qualities. Because these three gunas we have, rajas, tamas and sattva. So from the very young age we start practicing, it is easier. So these qualities we imbibe and then understand, it becomes easier. So what likes and dislikes, we should have samatvam. Samatvam means we should go according to what Shastra says, not jump, because again the senses will go out of control. That's why it is said, whatever we like, we do more of that, and whatever we don't like, we do less. For that only the guidance is Shastras, these Mahans who have led their lives, who are leading their lives. Seeing them we learn, seeing the elders. So every duty has to be done perfectly with cheerfulness and happiness. The underlying understanding factor is Satchit, you are the Ananda Swarupa. Normally, because of the ignorance and Maya Shakti, we feel that we get happiness in material things. That is temporary. Nothing wrong in having everything, but real nature of ours we have to do. We have to understand that Satchit Ananda Swarupa, you are the key is within you, the happiness. So you need not search out, you have to search, go inward. So that is the explanation of this, the victory. So that way we win over the virtues. So that Lakshmi is referring to the victory over the mind. That is the six forms of wealth which I was telling. Calmness of mind, withdrawal, faith. We should have total faith and Shraddha in our scriptures. Nothing wrong in having doubt and asking questions, but with Shraddha and faith, if you do, you can see the results very fast, because with that attitude you are doing, that is an action you are doing. So the result has to be good. The victory comes only when the mind is prepared to know the truth, and this mental preparation is very, very important. So that is the emphasizing factor in the fourth sloka, fourth verse. Now coming to the fifth verse. Lakshmi Stavaka Ramaniyaka Hridai Veyam Pareshwasthiraihi Asmin Nanyadi अस्मिन्नन्यदपि प्रमाणमधुना वक्ष्यामि लक्ष्मीपते ये त्वद्ध्यानगुणानुकीर्तनरसासक्ता हि भक्ता जनाः तेष्वेषा वसति स्थिरैव दयित प्रस्तावदत्ताधरा. हे लक्ष्मीपते, O consort of Lakshmi, Iyam Lakshmihi, this Lakshmi, Tavakaramaniyakahrita eva, being captivated by thy beauty, Pareshu asthira, is fickle with others, iti asmin, in this respect, anyat pramana api, another proof also, adhuna vakshyami, I shall state now, e bhaktaha, he bhaktaha janaha, those devotees, twadhyana gunanu kirtana rasa saktaha, who are engrossed in the bliss of meditating on thee and always singing thy glory. Teshu, with them, esha, she, daita prasthava dattadhara, fond of listening to the praise of her beloved Lord. Sthira vasati eva, he, does stay permanently. So, O Vishnu, I shall give another proof in support of my statement that Goddess Lakshmi is fickle with her devotees only because of being captivated by thy beauty. She does stay permanently with those devotees who are engrossed in the bliss of meditating on thee, on always singing thy glory, because she is fond of listening to the praise of her beloved Lord. So, here Narayan Bhattaripad is explaining that we have to worship. She is very happy when we think of Lord Vishnu naturally. So we can't separate Vishnu and Lakshmi. So worshipping that, understanding the formless form, worshipping with the form, and knowing the Brahma Tattvam, the pure consciousness, we can climb the steps easily. We'll continue in the next class, the further slokas. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna. We were in the second Dashakam of Narayaniyam, 5th verse. That is, we were highlighting about the importance of Lakshmi, how Lakshmi is not only the wealth, but all good virtues. We were seeing various virtues, fortitude, forgiveness, straightforwardness, so many other virtues. So coinciding, we are having the Navratri festival also, where the importance is given to Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati. One of the greatest thing in our religion and culture is every festival, every tradition we have in our scriptures, so much importance. If we learn for what purpose we are doing, we really gain so much happiness. That's what all rishis and mahans have told from the very childhood. Not just do anything mechanically, but with the significance of it. Like Durga Puja, the first 3 days, invoke the goddess Durga, the most powerful Devi, to remove our evils and to install all good virtues, all good qualities. For that, what we have to do, as I've already said, increase our energy power through japa, through parayanam. So much potential we have as a human being. Narayan Bhattaripad emphasizes that in a day we can learn so many things. A human being has unlimited capacity. We limit ourselves, we think that because of our ignorance, because of the Maya Shakti, we feel that we are limited. Actually, we have the unlimited capacity, more than a computer. We have the capacity to retain and learn in all the fields. Only thing, it requires planning. So always Swamiji used to tell, do not worry about the past, but learn from it. Do not become anxious about our future, but we should plan for it. So everything, plan out your work, and work out your plan. That is more important. Productively, if we do our daily routine, we can see tremendous change with awareness. With awareness means, the other day I had told, every action according to our conscience. Conscience is the Lord. Conscience is the truth. So many a times what happens, because of a fast, active pace of the life, we many a times go against our conscience, if you see. But when we grow spiritually, we have to first do every action according to our conscience. That is Satyam and Dharmam. Whatever our conscience says, if you do, then our mind will be as clear as a mirror, as clear as a water. Not even a slightest black mark will be there. That is more important. That conscience is the Atma. So the reflection of the Lord we have to see in our own selves. Our reflection only is reflected outside. That because we are unlimited consciousness. We should not limit ourselves. We are the Satchit Ananda Swarupa, Satchidananda Swarupa, unlimited consciousness. So with that awareness, if we do plan, we can enjoy our present, but do not get overexcited about it. We should be always calm. So these 9 days, 10 days of the Navratri Puja says how to control our senses, how to evolve ourselves. So the first 3 days is for Lord Durga, and the next, as we talked about, Goddess Lakshmi. So those virtues we have to practice. And the last 3 days is Goddess Saraswati, where it highlights that we have, as I already told, tremendous Medha Shakti. We have that Medha Shakti within us, and discrimination power Goddess Saraswati has given us, as told in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna also, that intellect we have to brighten by prayer, and the intellect guides us always. Many a times we decide because of our emotions, but always our intellect should take over our emotions. We should not be a slave to our emotions. So with that attitude, with discrimination, as Lord Krishna says, we have the discrimination capacity, what is good, what is bad. With that powerful intellect, who gives Goddess Saraswati through our prayers. So with the discriminative power in every action we have, then we'll never go wrong. We'll be in the right path to grow spiritually. So that is the highlighting factor, and we have so much tremendous capacity to reach that infinite, that Brahma Tattvam. That is the main point in the 5th sloka. So Goddess guides us, and we have to do every action diligently and with consistency. That is more important. Consistency we have to maintain. So coming to the 6th sloka. Evam bhuta manogyatāna vasudha nishyanda sandohanam tvadrupam parachidrasayanamaya चेतोहरं शृण्वतां सद्यः प्रेरयते मतिं मदयते रोमाञ्चयत्यङ्गकं व्यासिञ्चत्यपि शीतबाष्पपिसरैः आनन्दमूर्च्छोद्भवैः एवं भूतमनोज्ञतान वसुधा निश्यन्दसन्दोहनम्, which means which showers the sweet nectar of thy beauty, which has been described Parachidrasayanamayam, which is supreme consciousness and bliss, which I was highlighting. We are the unlimited consciousness, and this limited consciousness we feel because of our ignorance, as I told. We are that supreme unlimited consciousness, Satchit Ananda Swarupa, that was Parachit Rasayanamayam. And we see the Lord also with that attitude. Chetoharam, which captivates the mind. So when we see the Lord in that form, it really captivates us because we see the Ishvara everywhere. We see the perception itself changes. Oh, I am seeing that Supreme Being which is myself, which I have to gain those qualities. Cheto Haram, which captivates the mind. Tvadrupam, thy form. Shinvatam Mati, the mind of those who hear about it. Sadhya Prerayate, immediately stimulates. Madhete, fills with joy. Angakam Romanchyati, excites horripilation in all the limbs. Ananda Murchodbhavaihi, Shita Bhashva Visaraihi, with the flood of the cool tears produced by extreme ecstasy. Vyasinchati api, bathes also. Thy form which showers the sweet nectar of thy beauty, which is itself the supreme bliss consciousness and which captivates the mind, immediately stimulates the mind of those who hear about it, fills them with joy, excites horripilation in their limbs and bathes them in the flood of cool tears of extreme ecstasy. So he is explaining the form of the Lord so in detailed way that it captivates our mind. That is, when we have that calm mind, we can see each and every aspect of the Lord and try to assimilate and reflect upon the form. It really captivates our mind. It makes us see that you are the Purnam. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Like I already had told, we see that limited form and see the unlimited form in front of us, and we understand that Ishvara, the unlimited form, is you, is we, that form. So we come to know the reality, Sachit Ananda Swarupa, then we enjoy that Brahma's Swarupa. Who are you? When we analyze that, we are that unlimited form, God. Where did you come from? Again, the same reply, from God. Where are we going? Again, we are going back to God. So that realization, that Narayana Bhattacharya is highlighting in this sloka. Coming to the next sloka, that is the 7th. Evam bhutataya hi bhaktya bhito yogasya yogadvayat karma jnanamayat brishontamataro yogishwarairgiyate saundaryaikarasaatmake tvai khalu prema prakashatmika bhakti nishramameva vishvapurushaihi labhya ramavallabha. That is the 7th sloka. Bhaktya vihitah sa yogaha, the yoga known as bhakti. Evam bhutataya, being of this nature. Karma jnana mayat yoga dvayat, then the two paths of karma and jnana. So as I already told, all the three has to be simultaneous. Bhakti, jnana, karma. When we do any karma with bhakti and with jnana, the knowledge, that is more important. The knowledge aspect is very important. With that we do, then we enjoy every aspect of it. Brishontamatara, he is indeed superior. Yogishwarair giyate, so is it sung by great sages. Rama Vallabha, O consort of Lakshmi. Saundaryaika rasat make tvai, towards thee who art pure beauty incarnate. Prema prakashatmika bhaktihi, devotion which is of the nature of intense love. Vishwa Purushaihi, by all human beings. nishramameva, without any effort at all. Labhya khalu is attainable indeed. So what Narayana Bhattaripad is referring is, with bhakti, like Gopikas, like we were referring to Sadashiva Brahmendra or any other great saints, with bhakti how they could understand the Lord. The meaning of the 7th sloka is, O consort of Lakshmi, that path called bhakti, being of the above mentioned nature, is indeed superior to the path of karma and jnana. So it is said by the great sages, bhakti, which consists in intense love for thee, who art beauty of incarnation, is indeed attainable by all human beings without any effort. So the highlighting factor in this sloka is bhakti, with love, with intense love, mumukshutvam, with intense desire. If we want to attain that lotus feet, with bhakti we do it, sure we can reach the Brahma Tattvam. I conclude with this, the continuation, the next class. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna. We were in the second Dashakam of Narayaniyam, 5th verse. That is, we were highlighting about the importance of Lakshmi, how Lakshmi is not only the wealth, but all good virtues. We were seeing various virtues, fortitude, forgiveness, straightforwardness, so many other virtues. So coinciding, we are having the Navratri festival also, where the importance is given to Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati. One of the greatest thing in our religion and culture is every festival, every tradition we have in our scriptures, so much importance. If we learn for what purpose we are doing, we really gain so much happiness. That's what all rishis and mahans have told from the very childhood, not just do anything mechanically, but with the significance of it. Like Durga Puja, the first 3 days invoke the goddess Durga, the most powerful Devi, to remove our evils and to install all good virtues, all good qualities. For that, what we have to do, as I've already said, increase our energy power through japa, through parayanam. So much potential we have as a human being. Narayana Bhattaripad emphasizes that in a day we can learn so many things. A human being has unlimited capacity. We limit ourselves, we think that because of our ignorance, because of the Maya Shakti, we feel that we are limited. Actually, we have the unlimited capacity, more than a computer. We have the capacity to retain and learn in all the fields. Only thing, it requires planning. So always Swamiji used to tell, do not worry about the past, but learn from it. Do not become anxious about our future, but we should plan for it. So everything, plan out your work and work out your plan. That is more important. Productively, if we do our daily routine, we can see tremendous change with awareness. With awareness means, as the other day I had told, every action according to our conscience. Conscience is the Lord. Conscience is the truth. So many a times what happens, because of a fast, active pace of the life, we many a times go against our conscience, if you see. But when we grow spiritually, we have to first do every action according to our conscience. That is Satyam and Dharmam. Whatever our conscience says, if you do, then our mind will be as clear as a mirror, as clear as a water. Not even a slightest black mark will be there. That is more important. That conscience is the Atma. So the reflection of the Lord we have to see in our own selves. Our reflection only is reflected outside. that because we are unlimited consciousness. We should not limit ourselves. We are the Satchit Ananda Swarupa, Satchidananda Swarupa, unlimited consciousness. So with that awareness, if we do plan, we can enjoy our present, but do not get overexcited about it. We should be always calm. So these 9 days, 10 days of the Navaratri Puja says how to control our senses, how to evolve ourselves. So the first 3 days is for Lord Durga, and the next, as we talk about Goddess Lakshmi. So those virtues we have to practice. And the last 3 days is Goddess Saraswati, where it highlights that we have, as I already told, tremendous Medha Shakti. We have that Medha Shakti within us, and discrimination power Goddess Saraswati has given us, as told in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna also, that intellect we have to brighten by prayer, and that intellect guides us always. Many a times we decide because of our emotions, but always our intellect should take over our emotions. We should not be a slave to our emotions. So with that attitude, with discrimination, as Lord Krishna says, we have the discrimination capacity, what is good, what is bad. With that powerful intellect, who gives Goddess Saraswati through our prayers. So with the discriminative power in every action we have, then we'll never go wrong. We'll be in the right path to grow spiritually. So that is the highlighting factor, and we have so much tremendous capacity to reach that infinite, that Brahma Tattvam. That is the main point in the 5th sloka. So Goddess guides us, and we have to do every action diligently and with consistency. That is more important. Consistency we have to maintain. So coming to the 6th sloka. Evam bhuta manoghyatana vasudha nishyanda sandohanam tvadrupam parachidrasayanamaya चेतोहरं शृण्वतां सद्यः प्रेरयते मतिं मदयते रोमाञ्चयत्यङ्गकं व्यासिञ्चत्यपि शीतबाष्पपिसरैः आनन्दमूर्च्छोद्भवैः एवं भूतमनोज्ञतानवसुधा निष्यन्दसन्दोहनम्, which means which showers the sweet nectar of thy beauty, which has been described Parachidrasayanamayam, which is supreme consciousness and bliss, which I was highlighting. We are the unlimited consciousness, and this limited consciousness we feel because of our ignorance, as I told. We are that supreme unlimited consciousness, Satchit Ananda Swarupa, that was Parachidrasayanamayam. And we see the Lord also with that attitude, Chetoharam, which captivates the mind. So when we see the Lord in that form, it really captivates us, because we see the Ishvara everywhere. We see the perception itself changes. Oh, I am seeing that supreme being which is myself, which I have to gain those qualities. Chetoharam, which captivates the mind. Tvadrupam, thy form. Shrinvatam mati, the mind of those who hear about it. Sadhya prerayate, immediately stimulates. Madhete, fills with joy. Angakam romanchyati, excites horripilation in all the limbs. Ananda murchodbhavaihi, shita bhashva visaraihi, with the flood of the cool tears produced by extreme ecstasy. Vyasinchati api, waits also. Thy form which showers the sweet nectar of thy beauty, which is itself the supreme bliss consciousness, and which captivates the mind, immediately stimulates the mind of those who hear about it, fills them with joy, excites horripilation in their limbs, and bathes them in the flood of cool tears of extreme ecstasy. So he is explaining the form of the Lord so in detailed way that it captivates our mind. That is, when we have that calm mind, we can see each and every aspect of the Lord and try to assimilate and reflect upon the form. It really captivates our mind. It makes us see that you are the Purnam. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Like I already had told, we see that limited form and see the unlimited form in front of us, and we understand that Ishvara, the unlimited form, is you, is we, that form. So we come to know the reality, Sachit Ananda Swarupa, then we enjoy that Brahmas Swarupa. Who are you? When we analyze that, we are that unlimited form, God. Where did you come from? Again, the same reply, from God. Where are we going? Again, we are going back to God. So that realization, that Narayana Bhattacharya is highlighting in this sloka. Coming to the next sloka, that is the 7th. Evam bhutataya hi bhaktya vihito yogasya yogadvayat karma jnanamayat brishontamataro yogishwarairgiyate saundaryaikarasatmake tvai khalu prema prakashatmika bhakti nishramameva vishvapurushaihi labhya ramavallabha. That is the 7th sloka. Bhaktya vihitah sa yogaha. The yoga known as bhakti. Evam bhutataya. Being of this nature. Karma jnana mayat yoga dvayat. Then the two paths of karma and jnana. So as I already told, all the three has to be simultaneous. Bhakti, jnana, karma. When we do any karma with bhakti and with jnana, the knowledge, that is more important. The knowledge aspect is very important. With that we do, then we enjoy every aspect of it. Brishontamatara, he is indeed superior. Yogishwarair giyate. So is it sung by great sages. Rama Vallabha, O consort of Lakshmi. Saundaryaika rasatmake tvai. Towards thee who art pure beauty incarnate. Prema prakashatmika bhaktihi. Devotion which is of the nature of intense love. Vishwa purushaihi. By all human beings. Nishramameva. Without any effort at all. Labhya khalu. Is attainable indeed. So what Narayana Bhattacharya is referring is, with bhakti, like Gopikas, like we were referring to Sadashiva Brahmendra or any other great saints, with bhakti how they could understand the Lord. The meaning of the 7th sloka is, O consort of Lakshmi, that path called bhakti, being of the above mentioned nature, is indeed superior to the path of karma and jnana. So it is said by the great sages, bhakti which consists in intense love for thee, who art beauty of incarnation, is indeed attainable by all human beings without any effort. So the highlighting factor in this sloka is bhakti, with love, with intense love, mumukshutvam, with intense desire. If you want to attain that lotus feet, with bhakti we do it, sure we can reach the Brahma Tattva. I conclude with this, the continuation, the next class. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna. Coming to the second Dashakam of the Narayaniyam, the formful aspect of the Lord. We are in the 8th sloka, 8th verse. 8th and 9th actually describes about the karma, bhakti and jnana. It's so much interrelated and very important verses to be where Narayana Bhattacharya Bhatt is explaining about the jnana, karma and bhakti in a detailed way, so that this will help us to understand the further verses. So 8th verse. Nishkamam niyatasvadharmacharanam yat karma yoga bidham tadduretya phalam yadhopanishadajnanopalabhyam punaha tatva vyaktataya sudurghamataram chittasya tasmad vibho tvatprematmaka bhaktireva satatam swadiyasi shreyasi. 9th verse. Atyaya sakharani karma patalan acharya niryanmalaha bodhe bhakti pate tvapyuchitatam आयांति किं तावता क्लिष्ट्वा तर्कपते परं तव वपुः ब्रह्माख्यमन्ये पुनः चित्ताधृत्वमृते विचिन्त्य बहुभिः सिद्ध्यन्ति जन्मान्तरैः. The meaning of the 8th verse. Karma yoga vidham, that which is called karma yoga, nishkamam, without desire for fruit, niyata swadharma charanam yat, and which consists in the performance of one's duty, tad dhuretya phalam, that gives results only in the distant future, aupanishadakyo palabhyam yat yat tu punaha, and that path which consists in attaining knowledge of Brahman described in the Upanishads. Avyaktataya, because of being abstract, since such knowledge is not attainable by means of the sense organs. That is, it can be attained only through knowledge, with understanding of the knowledge, how to control the senses, etc. He is trying to explain everything in the Vedas, Upanishads, because Vedas are the main, from that only all other scriptures have come. So Vedas, the end part of the Vedas is Vedanta. So the highlighting factor of all the scriptures, as I had said told earlier, this Vedanta part is very important. That's what Narayana Bhattacharya Bhatt is telling, as it's told in the Upanishads. Chittasya durgamataram, is very difficult for the mind to pursue. He Vibhu, O all-pervading Lord, tasmat, therefore, tvat prematmaka bhaktihi eva, only the path of bhakti, devotion, which consists only in love for thee, satatam, is always, swadiyasi, the sweetest, shreyasi, and the most excellent. The path known as karma yoga, which consists in the performance of one's duties without desire for the fruit, gives results only when practiced for a very long period of time. That is, he is explaining that with the prasada buddhi, every action, anyhow, is a cause and effect. You need not separately pray, because whatever you are doing with a good intention, with, as I told, with the awareness, with the conscience, according to your conscience, you do the action. It has to be good. So the Lord will give that result for that action, because the cause is the action, good action is the cause, and the effect has to be good. So as it's told, the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna emphasizes that I am not all the karmas, you yourself have to decide. I am just an observer. So according to your debit and credit, it goes. So that's why the choice is given for us, only for the human being, to choose and have the discriminations. That is, as I told in the earlier classes, which is very important for a human being to decide. That's why we have to be very careful in our decisions. That's why he is emphasizing that all the fruits of actions, take it as prasada, accept it as it comes. Because your prarabdha and the present are both put together. So we don't know what was the prarabdha. So that whatever good we do, the result has to be good. That's what he's emphasizing in this. The path of knowledge, which consists in trying to know Brahman, who cannot be known by means of the sense organs, is very difficult for the mind to pursue because of its abstract nature. O all-pervading Lord, therefore the path of devotion, which needs only love for Thee, is the sweetest and the most excellent. So, with deep devotion, with total surrender, with humility, with bhakti, like Gopikas, that extreme bhakti, if we have, we can reach the Lord, because already the knowledge part they would have gained in the previous birth. So we can't judge anybody in what level, as I told in the earlier classes. We ourselves are our judge. So with deep bhakti, like Mirabai, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like so many others as I have referred, deep bhakti we have. So some people pray, we need more bhakti to reach that. So ultimately the knowledge also Lord dawns on them through their karma. So it's in what level we are, we can make out from that. So that's what he's explaining about the bhakti. Coming to the 9th sloka, description. Atyaya sakarani. Kechit, some people, atyaya sakarani, demanding great effort. Karma patalani, the various nitya naimitika karmas. Acharya, performing. Niryan malaha, Niryan malaha, becoming purified in mind. Bodhe, for the path of knowledge. Athava bhakti pate api, or for the path of devotion. Uchitatam ayanti, attain fitness. Tavata kim, what is the use of that path of karma? Anye punaha, others however. Chitta dhritva rite, without the melting of the heart in love. Tarkapate, the path of logical reasoning. Klishtva, straining themselves. Param brahmakyam tava vapuhu, thy aspect known as Supreme Brahman. Vichintya, pondering over. Bahubihi janmantarehi, after many lives. Siddhyanti, attained. So after many lives only we are fortunate, we are in the satsang. That itself shows, as told by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita also, as Narayana Bhattacharya Padi also referring. After so many births we get a human birth, and in that human birth, being the spiritual path and being in the satsang, that itself is a grace of the Lord, of the punya what we have done in the previous janmas. So that is a very important factor. And also with the discrimination we can change ourselves, seeing others, seeing the society how they are. That's why free will is given for us to improve ourselves. So what he's telling is, some people perform various rituals with great efforts and thereby become purified in mind and therefore fit for the path of knowledge of devotion. What is the use? Since the path of karma cannot itself lead to liberation. What he's telling is, only with karma we can't reach the ultimate. What he means is, because what is the set of mind, what is our mindset, we don't know. For that only knowledge is required. For that only acharyas and gurus' grace are required. Because with ego, with selfish approach, we don't know. So what is our attitude? Our likes and dislikes, we might be binding likes and dislikes. So these are the things in the Vedas it is explained. You should not have a binding like for this and like for dislike for that. What is told in our Dharma Shastras, what is told in Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda in the Vedas. Accordingly, we have to do our duties, not whatever we like or dislike. So that's why he is referring that only just performing the actions, you will get the result, no doubt. But then to purify ourselves, to attain liberation, to have self-realization is possible only through jnanam, with Guru's grace, with study of the scriptures. Others train themselves in the path of logical reasoning by pondering over the Supreme Brahman. Without the melting of the heart in love, they will take many lives to attain the goal. Karma Yoga results only in purification of the mind and is therefore only in a preliminary step for the practice of Jnana Yoga. So that is step by step, he is telling. Only with knowledge also, some people, why he is referring is scholarly outlook they might have. So that's why he is telling again ego might come. So he is emphasizing on bhakti and deep devotion and humility, which is important. That's why he is emphasizing when you have knowledge also, you should not be proud of it. It is given by the Lord, we should think. We are just an instrument. That's he is emphasizing on that. The path of devotion, when bhakti becomes intense and develops into para bhakti, then that itself leads to knowledge, jnana. So all the three are interlinked. So he is emphasizing each one, how it has to be achieved. So in the Vedas also it is described Nitya Karma, Naimitika Karma, Samashti Karma, various karmas. So Nitya Karma is what daily routine, what all we do, as I already have told, with discipline, with total discipline and dedication, it has to be done. A person who is well disciplined in his life, for without discipline success is not possible. So that is very, very important, and fulfilling our duties. So that is our Nitya Karma, as I have already told, with proper attitude. And Samashti Karma is in the group we do. That also is very powerful. We pray for others and we are included in that. So that is another method, Samashti Karma, when we do together. So these are the various methods he is highlighting in the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. So Narayan Bhattatripad is emphasizing that when our minds are purified through karma, selfless action, and made single-pointed through upasana, worship, we cannot remain satisfied with the small achievements in worldly life. Then we begin to ask questions such as he is telling about the Jnana Kanda. What is the purpose of life? What is our true nature? What is this world and from where has it come from? What is the source and origin of this entire creation? So these quests started arising. That is, when questions of this kind arise in a person's mind, this quest for knowledge begins. This quest can be satisfied only when the student approaches a spiritual master and learns from him the highest knowledge of the self. This knowledge is subject matter, and it's the last, as I told, is the last portion of the Vedas, which is called in the Upanishads as Vedanta. So that quest is very important. Mumukshutvam arises in a person for the Jnana Kandam, to know about the Brahma Tattvam. That is the 9th sloka. We'll continue in the next class with the 10th sloka. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. Gopika Jivana Smaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna. Coming to the Narayaniam second Dashakam, we finished 9 verses. Coming to the 10th verse. Tvad bhaktistu katarasamritajari nirmajjanena swayam siddhyanti vimala प्रबोधपदवीम् अक्लेशतस्तन्वती सद्यः सिद्धिकरी जयत्यै विभो सैवास्तु मे त्वत्पदप्रेम प्रौढिरसाद्रता द्रुततरं वातालयादीश्वर Tvad-bhaktihi tu, devotion to thee, however, katarasamritajari nirmajjanena, by submerging oneself in the bliss of the flow of the nectar of thy stories. Swayam siddhyanti is attainable by itself. Vimala prabodha padavi, the state of pure knowledge, of identity with Brahman. Akleshataha, without any effort. Tanvati, bestowing. Sadhyasiddhikari, giving liberation immediately. Jayati is superior to karma and jnana yogas. That is, he is referring to bhakti. Ai Vatalayadishvara, O Lord of Guruvayur. He Vibho, O all-pervading Lord. Sa, that. Tvat pada prema praudi rasadhrata, the melting of the heart from the bliss of intense love for thy feet. May drutadharam astu, may I have soon. O Lord of Guruvayur, O all-pervading Lord, devotion to thee comes of itself if one merely immerses oneself in the joy of listening to the stories of thy deeds and excellence, and bestows the pure knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, that is liberation, without any effort on one's part, by thy grace alone. It is therefore superior to the paths of karma and jnana. May I soon experience the melting of the heart in the bliss of intense love for thy holy feet. So in this verse, Narayana Bhattatripad is referring all the three, bhakti, jnana and karma. Bhakti, surely with true bhakti and deep bhakti, like I have referred so many other devotees, we can. So it depends on each individual and what level they are. So he is telling all the three are equally important. He is telling about the people, including those who are not capable of grasping philosophy. He lifts them up little by little according to their different levels of maturity and understanding. To those who were capable of taking the path of jnana, he imparted instructions in a thorough manner through his commentaries. So many acharyas have done that. That's what he is referring, Narayan Bhattatripad. So with any method, we can achieve his lotus feet. But all the three are interrelated. He is giving some examples of great Mahans, Madhusudana Saraswati. The other day I was referring to Sadashiva Brahmendra. They were jnanis, but at the same time they were supreme devotees with so much intense love and bhakti. In fact, they have been even authored devotional hymns, devotional praises, songs. They have rendered. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, for example, accepted Advaita, but all along he kept chanting Kali Kali. That much bhakti he had for Devi. We might see by his nature, we might see that he is having so much bhakti, but behind that, so much knowledge also he had, jnanam. But our ordinary person, sometimes we feel so much deep bhakti, always he was calling Goddess name. But behind that, what Narayan Bhattatripad is referring, that behind every bhakta, there is jnanam, surely knowledge. That makes him ultimately, with humility, they have that love towards thy feet, that devotion. And in recent years, we have the example of Ramana Maharishi, also a great Advaitin, who sang the praise of Arunachaleshwara. Like that, so many jnanis have been in our history. Narayana Bhattatripad is referring that it's out of this realization of this truth that a jnani strives to free himself from the world, and the mind that gives rise to such a to remain rooted in this self and to identify it with all awareness. That is, there is no second. Jivatma and Paramatma is same. That's what the highlighting factor he is referring about Jnani. He says when an individual prays for being united with the Supreme, there is no second experience. It's only one divine nature. That is, there is apart from this rasa of devotion arising from the very act of prayer that grace comes. The response of the prayer is that supreme love brings about such a union with the Lord. That's what he's highlighting, that Advaita part of it. Ultimating, he is referring that all cannot adopt with ease this path of Jnanam, which involves realizing the truth of the Mahavakyas, that proclaims the non-difference between the Brahman and the individual self. But with study of the scriptures, surely we have to devote a lot of time and tremendous effort with Dhyanam, with Nitidhyasanam, one-pointed meditation. Surely he is telling we can come to know, the Atma Tattvam and the Brahma Tattvam. Ultimately we can surely reach the feet of the Lord. With this, the 10th sloka, beautifully he explains bhakti, karma and jnana, how it is interrelated and how a devotee can realize the ultimate truth. Coming to the third dasakam, Bhakti Swarupa Varnanam. A Swarupa Varnanam of the Bhakta, the qualities of the perfect devotee. Bhakta Swarupa Varnanam, that is Rupa Varnanam means the qualities of a Bhakta. The first verse is Patanto namani pramadhabara sindhau nipatitaha smaranto rupam te varada kathayanto gunakathaha charanto ye bhaktyaha tvai kalu ramante paramamun aham dhanyan manye samatigata sarva bilashitan. He Varada, O Lord, who bestows boons, Te Namami, thy names, Patantaha, chanting, Te Rupam, thy form, Smarantaha, meditating on, Pramadhabara Sindhau, in the ocean of bliss, Napatitaha, submerged, Gunakataha, the narrations of thy excellence, Katayantaha, narrating to one another, Charantaha, moving about without any fixed place of residence, E Bhaktaha, whichever devotees, Tvai, in thee, Param Ramante Khalu, revel intensely indeed, Amun Samadhigata Sarva Bilashitan, they who have attained all desires, that is, who have no desire other than for the Lord, and who have attained that desire. That is, who have the only one desire, mumukshutvam, deep, intense desire to know the Lord. So every moment, every 24/7 thinking of the Lord and Lord alone in every action, thought, word and deed. He is referring every action, thinking of the Lord. Aham dhanyan manye, I consider to be very fortunate. So the next example Baba used to say, if you see our watch, that is a reminder for watch your words, watch your actions, watch your thought, watch your character and watch your heart. This watching with these 5 thoughts, every day if you practice that, it is easy for us to be a perfect devotee. That's what he is referring. O bestower of boons, I consider those devotees alone to be most fortunate who, always chanting thy names and meditating on thy form, remains ever submerged in the ocean of bliss, who are always engaged in narrating to one another thy excellence, who always move about without any fixed place of residence, visiting thy temples and other holy places, who have no desire to be fulfilled, and who revel in thee alone. He is referring to such great devotees who do namasmaranam always. And we should make an habit chanting, repeating the name. That is the japa we do for creating concentration, to increase the medha sakti. The other day I was telling 1008 or whatever number, what time you devote devote, take a nama and do it, we'll see a tremendous change that increases all the chakra shakti, all the energy levels, all the devatas are invoked and it increases the energy level. So the namasmaranam is very important for a bhakta. He is referring daily. You should have a schedule of chanting the name. No need of a count, concentration, because sometimes what happens, we see the count and we forget meditating on the Lord. So thinking of the Lord is more important than the count. The more you concentrate on the form, then go to the formless, we'll see the tremendous change. That is the first sloka he is highlighting. And as I told, the important qualities of a perfect bhakta is inspiring thoughts he should have, healthy outlook, he should have the nature of forgiveness, total love for everybody, dynamic and enthusiastic living. That is, every activity we should do with enthusiasm and dynamic in action. That is, we are doing for the Lord, not with a selfish approach, but with a selfless approach. And very broad-mindedness. In every activity we should have a broad outlook. You should keep inspiring idols, mahans as a goal, great purushas, great avatar purushas as a goal, and start doing the action with single pointedness. I am sure by the grace of God we all can attain and know the Brahma Tattvam. Today I conclude with the first sloka. Next class I will take the second sloka of the third dashakam of Narayaniyam. Gopika Jeevanasmaranam Govinda Govinda. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. Gopika Jeevanasmaranam Govinda Govinda. Narayaniyam, second dashakam, chanting part. सूर्यस्पर्धिकिरीटमूर्ध्वतिलक प्रोद्भासि फालान्तरम् कारुण्याकुलनेत्रमार्द्रमसितोल्लासं सुनासापुटम् गण्डोद्यं मकराभकुण्डलयुगं कण्ठोज्ज्वलकौस्तुभं त्वद्रूपं वनमाल्यहारपटलश्रीवत्स दीप्रं भजे केयूराङ्गदकङ्गणोत्तममहारत्नाङ्गुलीया गीतश्रीमद्बाहुजचुष्टसङ्गतगदा शङ्खारिपङ्गेरुहां काञ्चित् काञ्चन काञ्चिलाञ्जितलसत् पीताम्बरालम्बिनीम् आलम्बे विमलाम्बुजद्युतिपदां मूर्तिं तवाच्छिच्छिदम् यत्रैलोक्यमहीयसोऽपि महितं सम्मोहनं मोहनात् कान्तं कान्तिनिधानतोऽपि मधुरं माधुर्यदुर्यादपि सौन्दर्योत्तरतोऽपि सुन्दरतरं त्वद्रूपमाश्चर्यतोऽपि आश्चर्यं भुवनेन कस्य कुतुकं पुष्णाति विष्णो विभो तत्तादृङ्मधुरात्मकं तव वपुः सम्प्राप्य सम्पन्मयी सा देवी परमोत्सुका चिरतरं नास्ते स्वभक्तेष्वपि तेनास्याभत कष्टमच्युत विभो त्वद्रूपमानोज्ञकप्रेमस्थैर्यमयात चापलबलात् चापल्यवार्तोऽतभूत् लक्ष्मीस्थावकरामणीयकहृदै वेयं परेष्वस्थिरैः अस्मिन्नन्यदभिप्रमाणमधुना वक्ष्यामि लक्ष्मीपते एत्वद्ध्यानगुणानुकीर्तनरसासक्ता हि भक्ता जनाः तेष्वेषा वसति स्थिरैव दैत्यप्रस्ताव दत्ताधरा एवं भूतमनोज्ञतान वसुधा निष्यन्दसन्दोहनम् त्वद्रूपं परचिद्रसायनमयं चेतोहरं शृण्वताम् सद्यः प्रेरयते मतिं मदयते रोमाञ्चयत्यङ्गकम् व्यासिञ्चत्यपि शीत्वबाष्पविसरैः आनन्दमूर्च्छोद्भवैः एवं भूततया हि भक्त्यभिहितो योगः स योगद्वयात् कर्मज्ञानमयादृशोऽन्तमतरो योगीश्वरैर्गीयते सौन्दर्यैकरसात्मके त्वयि खलु प्रेमप्रकर्षात्मिका भक्तिः निःश्रममेव विश्वपुरुषैः लभ्या रमावल्लभ निष्कामं नियतस्वधर्मचरणं यत्कर्मयोगाभिधं तद्धूरेत्यफलं यदोपनिषदज्ञानोपलभ्यं पुनः तत्त्वव्यक्ततयासि दुर्गमतरं चित्तस्य तस्माद्विभो त्वत्प्रेमात्मकभक्तिरेव सततं स्वाधीयसि श्रेयसि अत्यायासकराणि कर्मपटलान् आचर्यनिर्यन्मलाः बोधे भक्तिपदैतवामप्युचितताम् आयान्ति किं तावता क्लिष्ट्वा तर्कपथे परं तव वपुः ब्रह्माख्यमन्ये पुनः चित्ताधृत्वमर्थे विचिन्त्य बहुभिः सिद्ध्यन्ति जन्मान्तरैः त्वद्भक्तिस्तु कथारसामृतजरे निर्मज्जनेन स्वयं सिद्ध्यन्ति विमलप्रबोधपदवीम् अक्लेशतस्तन्वतीं सद्यः सिद्धिकरी जयत्यै विभो सैवास्तु मे त्वत्पदप्रेमप्रौढिसरसाद्रता द्रुततरं वातालयाधीश्वर श्रीहरे नमः। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्द गोविन्द। राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण।